On this episode of the Ask Mike Reinold Show, we talk about a bunch of tips and advice for new grad physical therapists that are trying to find a job in this COVID pandemic right now.
The Ask Mike Reinold Show. Helping people feel better, move better, and perform better. Before we get to the podcast, I wanted to make sure you knew about my free online course on the Introduction to Performance Therapy and Training. If you want to learn how to get started optimizing and enhancing performance, this is the course for you. Head to mikereinold.com/performance to sign up today. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of the Ask Mike Reinold Show. We are the physical therapy crew from Champion Physical Therapy and Performance up in Boston. We are, again, still closed during the COVID pandemic, so we are continuing with our podcast episodes recorded via Zoom from home. And I think the feedback we've been getting is pretty good, right, guys?
Best feedback I've ever received.
Good feedback.
I mean, I'm definitely hearing some good comments from people that, that they like the format and they like how, they can do it this way. So, but anyway, I'm joined here from order on my computer. I hope it turns out this way, but Lisa Russell, Lenny Macrina, Mike Scuduto, and way down below, Dan Pope, fitnesspainfree.com. What's up, everybody? But we again are joining you again, and now we actually have a COVID-specific question that I think we're all kind of excited to start tackling a little bit here as we're going through this and we're learning a little bit as well. So the question for today comes from Joe from New York. Good example from Joe being from New York too is, definitely one of the hardest hits, if not the hardest hit place in the United States. I'm sure Joe's kind of feeling it here, but Joe from New York says, considering that the COVID pandemic may make it hard for a third-year PT student and new grads to obtain a job due to the increased applicant pool from the amount of lost jobs, what are some suggestions you have to try and stand out during this time? I have a strong interest in sports physical therapy. And man, Joe, you are not the only one in this boat right now, right? All our students that just kind of graduated, right? Or getting close. I think they're all struggling to find jobs. I think one found a job, right? Did Trey get a job? I feel like somebody just recently.
Yeah, I think he did.
Which is great. So I guess it's going to depend a lot on your state and stuff, and how shut down you are. But I can see Joe from New York, really struggling here. This is going to be an interesting time. So, what advice do we have, guys? So, late PT school students, new grads that are entering the field, what do you do right now to try to get a job when jobs are going down? Who wants to start? One at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
It's a really tough question.
Yeah, I would say you're pushing your connections. You're getting in touch with your CIs that you. Even if you're not going to work with them, and let them keep their ears open. If there's any jobs that open, I would also use the time to better yourself. So whether or not you get you take some more Con Ed courses. Unfortunately, I think because you weren't working and you were in school, you're not eligible for unemployment. So you can't really file to try to create some revenue for yourself. But I think it's making yourself better. Somehow and taking the concepts that you learned in PT school and some of the concepts you had to use to study, and you're using it on friends, family, trying to practice your assessments and get used to that comfort level of interacting with people again. And I think just trying to take classes, online stuff. And like I said, just using your connections. I think that we always say that, right? Is use your connections and get to know people. If not, you're going to have to start volunteering and shadowing, and hopefully PTs are going to allow that, but you're probably not going to want too many bodies in the facility. So I do not envy you guys right now, because we've had people reach out to us asking if we were hiring, and we're not. So you do not have to send me a resume, because we are not hiring right now.
That was good, Len. What do you got, Mike?
Yeah, I think overall, I mean, obviously the unemployment numbers in the entire nation are pretty bleak right now, right? So we just hit like a high since the Great Depression in unemployment. So everyone's kind of struggling to find a job in all different industries. A lot of people are out of work right now. I actually was looking at some statistics like just before this episode, prepped a little bit for the question. But PT was projected to grow by 22% PT jobs from 2018 to 2028. So I would be hopeful that we are going to make a return and we are going to get back towards that projection of growing by that amount. But it may take a couple years after this. Like this could have set us back, like, I don't know, a couple years. I won't put a number on it. So I would be hopeful that, you will find a job in the type of clinic that you want to work in, but you got to set yourself up for success when that opportunity arises so that you are a good candidate. So that kind of goes back to what Lenny was saying. I think maybe being a little bit patient and, just preparing yourself for the future, but I would be hopeful and I wouldn't lose all hope in the entire profession.
It's very scary, right? Because in theory, like your loans are going to kick in 6 months after you graduate. I know the government will probably, hopefully do the right thing and give you a little bit more leeway, right? I think they already have with current loans. So people that are graduating that weren't in a loan situation have loans kicking in. I think it's 6 months, right? After you graduate, you're going to start paying them. So, everybody's in the same. Mike and I, we've had a gazillion conversations about our business. Everybody is in the same situation, right? It's not just you. So it's not like they're going to put 30 million people, that are not working, plus all the new grads, and just like kick them out in the street and say, you owe us money, even though you don't have money. There's no way they can do that, right? The government is doing what they think they can do by giving, stipends to people and helping with loans and even rents. You don't have to pay. Some states are not, you don't have to pay your rent, and there's no penalty right now. You have to pay it eventually, but you can delay things. So I think they're going to keep delaying stuff because this is an unprecedented time. Like Mike said, this is comparable to the Great Depression in the 30s. So
there's a job loss.
Don't freak out somehow, even though we still freak out because our business is, we're a fraction of what we normally do. And, just try to separate yourself, try to be different than all the other grads that are coming out somehow by, practicing and learning your skills and just be ready for that time. Cause it's going to come, right? The government, the economy is going to come back at some point. So be ready.
Nice. Dan, Lisa, you guys got anything to add?
Yeah, I feel like it's a matter of like what you're looking for, right? If you're just anxious to start on the job market and you just like want to get out there and use parts of what you learn, I feel like you just can't be picky. Like you might end up in a setting that you aren't like looking to go to. Like sport, you might not get into that sports clinic right away. You might have to start in a hospital, but that doesn't mean you aren't gaining really important skills that you can then use later in whatever sports clinic and whatever. I feel like no matter what, the first few years out of school, it's like learning how to like interact with people and how to listen to people and how to just like be a PT. And it doesn't super matter what setting you're in because there's like a lot to learn in just doing it. So I think it's a matter of what your priority is. Like if you're just stubborn and you want to be like, yes, I'm a sports PT and that's all I'm ever going to do, like you're probably going to be stuck home for a while,
right,
or maybe take a lot of there's no sports happening anyway.
Yeah.
Or, maybe take like a telehealth continuing ed. I don't know.
My first job was acute care. I was an acute care PT in Durham, North Carolina for like a year before I got a sports job. So, or outpatient job. So you do what you do, right? This was in 2003. So
I saved Lenny. I remember calling and be like, hey, we're gonna have some openings in Birmingham. And you're like, man, I like North Carolina. I'm like, I mean, you like acute care that much? Pope, what do you think? Anything? I mean, honestly, so this is, I'm kind of liking the Zoom thing. I'm taking notes. Like this is like you got this was a great answer. This is really good. Dan, you got anything to add to that? I mean, that was wisdom right there.
Well, I do think there's some weird opportunities in a time like this. I think it's very obvious just to say, man, this stinks. I'm not going to be able to get a job. No one's going to be able to get a job. And a lot of that's very true. But what I will say is that I know some people in some kind of industries that are similar to us. I mean, I'm big time in the fitness industry, but a lot of personal trainers that were full-time personal trainers obviously can't train anymore. Some of them started their own online businesses now, and they're doing well, and they're thinking about not going back, So what I will say is that, I mean, if you're in any sort of position as I am that really enjoys fitness, and if you can maybe embrace the telehealth, I don't know how that works from an insurance perspective, what's going to happen in the future. You may find the opportunity to do some part-time work, kind of start up your own business, that type of thing. If nothing else, it's a really good time to start branding yourself. You know, if you want to be kind of a niche practitioner, if you like the out-of-network kind of cash-based thing, it might be a good idea to maybe start your own website, kind of figure out what you're looking for from a professional perspective, and continue networking, and maybe not just networking with physical therapists, but maybe with coaches, trainers, whatever other specific niche or sport you want to get involved in, and just keeping those open, and then being open-minded, because you may find a funky opportunity presents itself and you like it and you go for it. It takes you in a better place than maybe it would be otherwise.
Awesome. Again, awesome. This is turning out to be a fantastic episode, because I think there's a lot of good wisdom here that probably applies to new grads in general, right? But obviously in this situation, I think it's the need to really stand out, and because of the competition is really like escalated, right? So that has really kind of like risen to the top. So heck, I literally have nothing to add, which is fantastic. But I'm going to summarize a little bit here, because like I said, I took notes and I think this was fantastic. I think if you kind of put it all together, it's amazing. So if you're looking for a job, sounds like we recommend you do this. Connections first. Lenny started with that. I thought that was awesome. We call it shaking the tree sometimes. Just shake the tree a little bit, see what falls down, send a text out to everybody you know, like emails, Facebook posts. Like, now is not the time, to be worried about like your ego. Just say like, hey, looking for a job. Shake that tree, get as many connections as you can. But as Lisa kind of said, probably now not the time to be picky, right? So you probably need to be willing to go and do something else, right? And make the best out of it. Lisa said that really well. Make the best out of it, because there's tons of learning you can do from all the different fields that you can apply to sports. You know what I call it? I always say this, and I think as a physical therapy student, you guys are in a very unique situation right now. I call it your plan A, your plan B, and your plan Z. We talk about this all the time. Your plan A is to work in a sports PT place, right? But you got to plan for everything. Plan B, okay, acute care, home health, I don't know what it is. Like, plan Z is probably home health, we'll say, especially in like the COVID situation, right? But your plan B, working in a hospital system, it's not bad. That's not a bad plan, right? So like, there's really not a terrible situation if your plan Z is just doing some home health. It's really not that bad of a situation. So you got plenty of things you can do. I think Lenny said this here, volunteer if you can, right? Go to the clinic that you want that doesn't have an opening. Just in your spare time, if you have it, go clean tables. Go put on a mask and gloves and clean tables and be a resource for them. So that way they know it's a no-brainer to hire you afterwards. But again, probably more than anything else, is take this time to better yourself, right? Because a lot of your co-students and your co-graduates are probably just sitting around with their hands, right? They're sitting around on their hands, not doing much, right? But if you can just get as much content in, and you can stay in touch with the local clinics around you and say, I'm dying to get in, let me know. In the meantime, here's my plan to be ready for you. I'm going to go through this, and this. It's going to be amazing. I think that puts yourself in a great position to succeed, right? You're setting yourself up for success and focusing on bettering yourself. The worst thing you do is come out of this neutral. Somehow come out of this ahead. And I think that's the only thing you can focus on right now, right? Make sense? So awesome episode, great input from everybody, in a really timely topic that I think hits home to all of us here, because we feel for you. And trust us, we're all employed here, right? But like, we're employed with no patients, right? Remember this is healthcare, right? There's going to be a need for healthcare when things open up. It's not going to go away, right? Just like Mike said with the statistics, this will open back up and you will get opportunities because it's healthcare, right? It's not like you're a student for a cruise management system, right? Or a cruise management company, right? It's not like you're trying to work for Carnival or Norwegian right now, right? There will be PT jobs in a couple of months when things open. So hang in there, right? That makes sense? How's that for a good ending? Which is good. I wonder what our attrition rates are over the episode too. How many people actually catch my last sentence? But keep that in mind.
Not the CEO of Norwegian.
Right, exactly. But I think when things open up and elective surgeries start coming back, this is going to kind of filter itself out a little bit for PT. So great question. Thank you so much, Joe. Good luck to you and the rest of your class and fellow new grads out there, because it's a tough time. If you have a question like that, head to MikeReinold.com, click on the podcast link and fill out the form to ask us something. Hopefully we'll get to it in a future episode. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next episode.